Hello, everybody. Today we are going to deal with Chapter 1 Introduction, the Big Picture. So, Chapter 1 looks at what exactly are the fundamentals of healthcare, and learning objective is to get an overview of US healthcare system, including the relationships among quality, cost and access, stakeholders, and types of healthcare services to get an idea of key medical care and healthcare destinations and definitions, to identify and discuss the principal problems of US healthcare system, and finally to describe the major forces that have shaped the delivery of healthcare services, and we also look at examples on them. The World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete mental, physical, and social well being, and not merely absence of disease or infirmity. The four major components contributing to health status are heredity or genetics, the environment, the lifestyle, and the organization and delivery of healthcare services. All of these factors interact to determine an individual's health status. So the environmental components affects the health status through daily interaction. Physical includes radon and ozone levels, air and water quality. Social includes social institutions and government regulations. And economic component is the wealth of the nation, money for research or personal wealth. Now we'll deal with the healthcare system as a whole. Organization and delivery of healthcare services, hereafter called the healthcare system, refers to a complex set of arrangements in our society that mediates between human being and our vulnerability to diseases. The three goals for healthcare system are to treat the sick, prevent disease, and set goals for maintaining and promoting health. Determining the balance between these often competing goals has been a dilemma for the United States healthcare delivery system, which has traditionally invested in providing personal healthcare service at the expense of public health services that focus on health promotion and disease prevention. In simple terms, we focus more on treating diseases rather than preventing it. The iron triangle of healthcare. The pillars of a healthcare system are access, cost, and quality, as shown in the above figure. Access is the potential ability to use the healthcare services, cost is the price of healthcare services, and quality refers to how good or how bad the healthcare services are during delivery. Each of the factors can be described at the macro level and micro level. So, in micro level, which suggests between individual and patient and the provider, and at the macro level, at the system level. Changes in funding or infrastructure in one vector of triangle will provide changes in other sectors. That is why this is all related or all connected. The iron triangle operates like a balloon. The pressure on one side forces the other side to expand. So if you try to press on the other side expands. Most of the US healthcare dollars are spent on healthcare treatment of acute and chronic diseases. Because our system is designed to heal one individual at a time, it is an illness-driven system of medicine rather than a comprehensive healthcare system. There are two types of healthcare services available in our system: personal and community, or population-based services. So there is one is personal and second is community or population-based services. Personal healthcare services focus on the provider and patient relationship. Community or population-based healthcare services are provided to prevent disease for a large group of people living together in a community, city, or a county. National healthcare expenditure, even though the slides talks about a little bit old values, but I have updated the values for 2022. NHE at national healthcare expenditure grew 4.1% to $4.5 trillion in 2022, or 13,493 per person, and accounted for 17.3% of the gross domestic product, or GDP. Medicare spending grew 5.9% to $944.3 billion in 2022, or 21% of total national healthcare expenditure. Medicaid spending grew to 9.6% to 805.7 billion in 2022, or 18% of the total national healthcare expenditure. Primary care is often referred to as first contact care, such as that received from the family doctor, hospital outpatient department, community health center, or university health service. Secondary care is typically provided in community hospitals, outpatient testing centers, and specialty offices. Tertiary care or super specialty care is often delivered at large medical centers, referral hospitals, and teaching hospitals. Tertiary care hospitals provide almost all levels of service, including primary and secondary care. Emergency care can be provided at the scene of an accident, en route to the hospital, or at the hospital emergency department. The main purpose of emergency care is to stabilize the patient until arrival at a hospital trauma center or emergency room. Long-term care focuses on the treatment of chronic illnesses and disability. Demand for long-term care services has increased in recent years and will even become more critical as our population ages and people live longer. Rehabilitative care is an example of increasing demands placed on the healthcare system and increasing importance of physical medicine. Preventive medicine offers services that aim to stop the onset of the disease. Types of preventive care are immunizations, prenatal care visits, exercise, hypertension control, pap smears, smoking cessation, cholesterol control, mammography, and stress relief. But remember, one thing you should remember is that we are not focusing too much on the preventive, we are more focusing on the curative aspects. Traditional medicine is practiced by physicians, both allopathic and osteopathic. Complementary and alternative medicine is practiced by clinicians, including chiropractors, acupuncturists, homeopaths, and naturopaths, and even faith healers. Providers with a Doctor of Medicine degree practices allopathic medicine. Allopathic medicine is conventional or traditional scientific medicine. Doctors trained in allopathic medicine use drugs, devices, and surgery to treat diseases to produce alterations in the path of diseases. Providers who have received a Doctor of Osteopathy degree practice osteopathic medicine. Osteopathic physicians are trained to use drugs, devices, and surgery like MDs, but traditionally they have focused on treating the person holistically rather than focusing on symptoms or diseases. In osteopathic medicine, holistic means that structure influences function, and if there is a problem in one part of the body structure, function in that area and possibly in other areas may be affected. So they are treating it as a whole. Complementary and alternative medicine uses alternative therapies in place of conventional medicine. The National Institutes of Health, NIH, and National Center of Complementary and Alternative Medicine, NCCAM, classify CAM, that is complementary and alternative medicine, into 5 domains: whole medical systems, mind-body medicine, biologically based practices, manipulative and body-based practices, and energy medicine. Homeopathy is the use of very low doses of drugs that produce patient signs or symptoms to cure them. Naturopathy uses all natural treatments such as herbal medicine, massage, acupuncture, manual manipulation, hydrotherapy, and aromatherapy. Naturopaths believe that natural treatments can help the human body to heal itself. Mind-body medicine is designed to enhance mind's capacity to affect bodily functions and symptoms. These interventions include support groups such as Alcoholics Anonymous or cancer support groups, meditation, faith medicine, healing practices such as prayer that appeal to supernatural power, and create therapies such as art. So this is a creative therapy help you to cure your diseases. That is the logic. Biologically based practices involve the use of natural substances such as herbs, vitamins, and supplements to improve, hurt, or prevent disease. Manipulative and body-based practices include chiropractic and massage therapy. Chiropractic doctors treat problems with musculoskeletal and nervous system, largely using spinal manipulation or chiropractic adjustment. Chiropractors may also prescribe exercises used in physical therapy or counsel patients on nutrition, diet, and exercise, according to American Chiropractic Association 2007. Energy medicine involves use of energy, biofield therapy, and electromagnetic fields, bioelectromagnetic based therapy to affect health. The National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine divides the practice of energy medicine into two categories: veritable and putative. The veritable, confined to energy systems whose existence have been confirmed and proven by the scientific investigation, like electromagnetism, and putative medicine is based on the theorized energy form for which scientific investigation has not confirmed the existence, like biofield energy. This is according to NCCAM, National Council for the Complementary and Alternative Medicine, 2007. Informal medicine is one that we practice and receive more regularly than either traditional or complementary and alternative medicine, and is practiced when family and friends influence our health and medical seeking behavior. As social media is gaining importance, you can see that many people get all that health tips through social media. This is one type of medicine now practiced by people, and it is informal. A stakeholder is an individual or group that has investment or personal interest in something. The major stakeholders in healthcare industry as providers, example physicians, nurses, hospitals, chiropractors, and then consumers, patients, insurers like health maintenance organizations, preferred provider organizations, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and businesses, that is employers, and government, that is regulation, or Medicaid or Medicare. So any individual or group that has investment or personal interest in healthcare would come in under this. Illness is a subjective notion that focuses on how patients feel. Disease is an objective destination or a diagnosis made by medical or health professional services. Sickness or sick role is relative and relates closely to the social position, which includes age, occupation, marital status, and education. Therefore, any definition of illness varies with social role. According to Parsons 1951, there are four components of sick role. Individuals are not held responsible for their disease. Individuals are exempt from normal social responsibilities and role obligations. Third is the state of illness is undesirable and patients want to recover. Sick people are obligated to seek help from healthcare experts. Over the past several decades, there have been a move to medicalize social problems and add them to the responsibilities of the healthcare system, as evidenced by WHO definition of health presented at the beginning of the chapter. Some of advocates of this strategy have attempted, at least partially, to direct or redirect the social issues such as gun violence, domestic violence, literacy, substance abuse to the responsibility of the healthcare delivery system. Common social problems targeted by healthcare are poverty, substance abuse, unemployment, illiteracy, racism, violent crime, health habits and diet, spouse abuse, injury caused by guns. So there is a thing going on. First, many people believe that United States is spending too much money and too great a percentage of its scarce resources on healthcare. In 2022, 26 million people, 7.9% of the population, were uninsured, according to a report by Census Bureau. This is the latest one, and the citation is given there. But compare this with the earlier ones where it was almost like 50.7 million in 2009. Now it is actually better. Only 26 million people, or 7.9%, are uninsured now. Many of the arguments in the healthcare industry focus on following issues. We are spending too much on healthcare services, not too little. We are spending too little on healthcare services, not too much. The rise in costs has been uncontrollable by any interventions tried to date. The distribution of health services is highly variable throughout the population. Much that could be done to prevent disease and promote healing health using available knowledge and techniques is not done. So Again, going back to the preventive aspect being given less important. Many healthcare needs are undermet. Example, not enough home health care for infirm elderly, while others are overmet, too many hospital beds. The polarization of opinions of the role of government and religion in society has often been called the culture war, and it affects US healthcare policy in a number of ways. The interpretation of the Constitution and the rights granted to US citizens, right to health or healthcare, the role of healthcare in the economy, and level of regulation needed, and the battle between personal freedom and property rights versus government ownership and control, and the role of federal government versus role of state government in creating policy is always there, and that is the cultural war. Citizens of the United States have no constitutional right to healthcare or healthcare insurance is one view. This edict has charged a battle between camps that espouse a moral obligation versus those who claim there is a constitutional obligation to provide healthcare. Those who believe we have a constitutional obligation espouse that government should pay for everyone's healthcare using tax dollars. However, the Constitution does not contain the word health. It does contain a clause in the preamble to promote general welfare, and maybe health is coming under that. This broad phrase leads many Americans to believe that healthcare is a right and should be a right. The American Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act of 1986, EMTALA, mandates that hospitals with emergency departments that participate in Medicare evaluate any patient who seeks care, regardless of the patient's ability or willingness to pay, and then that they treat or stabilize anyone who is found to have an emergency medical condition. This act means that any person who goes to an emergency room will not be sent out, will be seen by a healthcare professional. The government's involvement in the market exists along a continuum. That is the continuum which is shown there, from no regulation laissez-faire to total regulation. On the far left, limited government regulation in the system allows businesses to compete freely. This type of system, a system with limited or no regulations, is described as laissez-faire or hands-off. At the far right is the complete regulation, could be characterized by government owning and running the entire healthcare system and mandating all components, from the types of services provided to the prices clinicians would charge or how much salaries clinicians could earn. So that there is a total regulation at one end and no regulation at the other end. It is important to recognize that healthcare system is a key component of US economy. Action taken by the government that produces significant changes in the healthcare system, example, cutting jobs, closing hospitals, or expanding healthcare entitlement programs such as Medicare, ripple throughout the entire economy. There's a struggle over the role of federal government versus the role of state government. The role space based, these two different types or different levels of government are dynamic and differ by political ideology. Some believe that to have equitable access to care, the federal government must provide health care or health insurance to all Americans. Others believe that different states have different needs and different priorities, so it should be up to the citizens of each state to determine whether the state should require health insurance and how much. The 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution states the powers not delegated to the federal government by the Constitution are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. However, the federal government has enacted many laws and created many programs that has given it power beyond what is explicitly stated in the Constitution. The 10th Amendment has not in the past prevented greater government involvement in the healthcare system. Environment change and restructuring of the US healthcare system include fee-for-service to the prospective payment type. So from fee-for-service it changed to prospective payment. From mainline medicine it changed to multiple discrete subdisciplines. From private practice to corporate medicine. From direct payer to third-party payer. From inpatient to outpatient. From intervention to prevention. From medical model to socio-medical model. From length of life to quality of life. From absolute trust in physicians to trust in several or no authorities, from confidence in institutions to no sense of obligations to institutions. Our perceptions of doctors, hospitals, and insurance are vastly different as well. Today, unlike 20 or 30 years ago, the public is wary of physicians. Increasingly, patients question the knowledge and integrity of their physicians now. Public opinion on healthcare issues 1997 shows that doctors are up to date on new medical advances. When they were asked the question, doctors usually up to date on new medical advances? They 66% agreed and 26% disagreed. The question on most doctors take genuine interest in their patients, 63% agreed and 34% disagreed. Doctors explain things well to the patients, 49% agreed and 48% disagreed. Doctors spend enough time with patients, 35% agreed and 61% disagreed. Doctors don't take as much about people as they used to, 53% agreed and 42% disagreed. Doctors do not involve patients enough in deciding on treatment, actually 57% agreed and 37% disagreed. What does it show? People have been less trusting on physicians as time passed. There are several key issues to consider when evaluating the healthcare system. Do we have a moral obligation versus a constitutional obligation to provide healthcare to our fellow citizens? What is the appropriate role of government in the healthcare industry? How should the role and responsibilities in the delivery of healthcare be divided between federal and state governments? What should be the government's effect on the US economy? The healthcare system is a major part of the US economy. Therefore, how should this component be regulated and managed? In this chapter, we discuss the definition of health. The World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Our health is predominantly influenced by heredity or genetics, the environment, the lifestyle, and the organization delivery of healthcare services. And the iron triangle of healthcare includes access, cost, and quality. There are several types of healthcare that consumers are able to access. They include health education and prevention, primary care, secondary care, tertiary care, emergency care, and long-term care. We also discuss the differences and similarities between allopathic medicine, osteopathic medicine, and complementary and alternative medicine. The major stakeholders in the United States health system include providers, consumers, insurers, businesses, and government. Each group plays an important role in healthcare industry, with several of the groups playing multiple roles. And the question is, did you get the big picture? Looking forward to see you in the chapter 2. Have a great day, and please don't forget, keep smiling. Thank you.